Hello, all the beautiful people that I love on the podcast. Today's intro is going to be a little bit longer because the podcast is a special gift. And so, in our alliance, our incredible community where we help heart centered entrepreneurs build and scale their business while loving every ounce of it, while also being supported by all of us. I do a drop every Friday on top of our weekly calls, on top of our circle channels, on top of our check-ins. And the theme this month is diving deep into customer journey. And last week I shared a 11-minute drop with the Alliance on managing the conversation and really how customer journey and where to apply and how to apply customer journey at every checkpoint in a relationship and how to do it, why it matters, and how to really win in this game. And in the state of the world right now, and even with our event wrapping up a couple of weeks ago, this is the piece, this is the part where everybody's either winning or losing while understanding how quickly and drastically the world is shifting, how people's behaviors are shifting, how they're having deeper endowment to things, how it takes longer for them to make decisions because the world is under constraint. And after recording this, my heart just felt so called to share it with everybody on the podcast and getting emotional thinking about it. And I wanted to share it with you. And so I'm sitting here recording this intro to let you know that the podcast that you're about to listen to is an 11-minute drop that we share in the Alliance. And every Friday, I do a new piece of training for the Alliance on top of our calls. And this is one of the trainings that we dropped in for reminders for how to think through customer journey and really specifically how to manage the conversation to make sure that we're making our customers the hero of their own journey and we're helping them get there. And so it felt called on my heart to share this with you. And this is from inside our Alliance. And so if you would like to come join us in the family, if you'd like to come join the Alliance, just shoot me a DM on Instagram that says Alliance, or you can just go to mindofgeorge.com/RBAA, like Relationships Beat Algorithms Alliance, because I like really long names. But the episode that you're about to listen to, the context is it's a drop that I dropped in Circle for all of our peeps around customer journey, and I wanted to share it with you. So without further ado, let's get into the drop. Let's get into managing the conversation with customer journey. And more importantly, let's just get into you being amazing. And right now in this moment, you having the most blessed, amazing day, taking a breath, understanding how awesome you are. And now let's get into the show. My beautiful Alliance family. And boy, it feels good to be back after the event and getting to break bread and spend so much time with a few of you, and so excited about being able to spend time with more of you in person. And trust me, there are more events coming and a lot more, and they will be out. And given the theme is customer journey, and I just spent 4 days deep into it, and some of the check-in calls have come up. I want to talk about customer journey, and I want to talk about managing the conversation. I also want to talk about all the breakthroughs that I've had, because I even have an outline and notes in front of me, exactly what we're going to cover to keep this easy, to keep this clear, and to support you. And so first, I've been hearing and seeing, and this came up a lot at the event, about where do I put somebody? I can't build a customer journey because I don't know where to put them. I don't know where they go. I don't have something to buy. What if I don't have an opt-in? So when I teach the 4 paths to the peer, I teach that those are the only 4 things that somebody can do when they come into your world. Thing number 1 is they can buy. Thing number 2 is they can opt in. Thing number 3 is they can learn more. And thing number 4, they can bounce, right? So the bounce people, if they really bounce, we don't have any control over them. But with all the other buckets, what we're really doing is managing the conversation, right? And a lot of people have no issue seeing customer journey clearly when they have an offer, right? Because somebody buys from you and then you know the end state you're getting them to, or that next end state, and you reverse engineer it backward. And so the first thing to remember is that when I use the word customer in customer journey, that's really should be replaced with relationship. It's just building a relationship and meeting somebody where they are and helping them move one step closer to where we would like them to be or where we're leading them, right? But it's really about always managing the conversation, right? And so we know that if somebody comes to buy something from us, we should have a customer journey, right? You buy my event ticket, I should at least think through those 5 steps, pick a medium, and let you know, like, hey, thanks for buying. I can't wait to see you. Here's what it's going to look like. If you buy a course, right? Hey, hit those 5 steps. We're going to be going through the course. It'll take 8 weeks. We might check in here and here. But really, when you think about customer journey, it's really managing the conversation to give the other party all the information required to empower them to take the next step, leading them back to you, closer to you, or closer towards their goal. And so when it comes on where you lead them really boils down to you. And so when we think about email, when we think about credit cards, people tend to see it a whole lot easier. And in my opinion, they're harder because it's all the other conversations that we manage that are so much better. So I'm going to give you a couple examples, right? If I meet somebody at a conference, and this happens often, and they ask me a question, and I make a book recommendation, well, I don't have an email, I don't have their credit card, but the next outcome would be for them to read that book and get a takeaway, and then me be the person who helped them. And so I'm like, hey, I really recommend The Catalyst. And based on our conversation, specifically the chapters on reactance and distance. And so I bet you if you read that book specifically, it would help a ton. And if it does, and I can help, just shoot me a DM on Instagram when you're done and we'll connect. Or I could give them my email, or I could give them my phone number, or I could do anything, but I'm really just managing the conversation, right? We get DMs on Instagram and someone's like, oh, I have a question. Well, before I answer that question, I also think about the outcome and the next place I'd want them to be. And so when I think about that, I might answer the question like, God, and based on this, I'd highly recommend that you go watch this YouTube video my friend did, or maybe listen to this podcast that I did if that supports you. And then the most important part about managing the conversation, especially with customer journey, is ensuring there's no codependency. And what I found is that by hitting the 5 steps always, the acknowledge, prepare, project, pre-handle, excite, that what it does is it also empowers the other party to take the action and the associated action, but doesn't require me to be codependent and follow up over and over and over again. It allows them to self-select, self-identify, and me to be a lighthouse, and them to keep coming closer and closer to me. Now, that doesn't mean I only have one of those convos a day, right? Sometimes that's 30 Instagram DMs in a day, and one goes to a podcast, and one gets offered the alliance, and one is like added to a waiting list for the event, and 4 of them are just conversations back and forth because I haven't found an ability to move it yet. And so all I think about is what bucket somebody's in, and is now the time to move them into another bucket. And sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. But then moving them is just as simple as moving them one step closer to their goal, right? And so there's a podcast coming out with the incredible Mike Rubin, who I had on the show yesterday. And Mike owns North Pond Ventures. They're a $60 billion fund. They have 88 companies inside of it. They've done $900 billion in top line acquisition, selling, fundraising, like levels and numbers that I can't even explain. He's like an associate tenured professor at MIT, Harvard, and Stanford. And I asked him what the 2 secrets to success were, and they answer and apply to customer journey. And number 1 was having the right relationship with risk. And our joke was really, really funny. He's like, everyone asks me why I'm successful now. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And he looked at me and he's like, it's because I've made every mistake, so I just automatically know what to do now. And I was like, I feel like I'm getting close to that from the amount of reps. And that's what it feels like. It's like, oh, done that. Nope, boom, here's how we move. But the second part is what got me so well. And he's like, it's the relationships. And there's only 2 buckets for him. He's like, there's the critical few, and then everybody outside of that. And with the critical few, these are the people that you spend your time with, your team, your closest people, the only one you take feedback from. But the other bucket he calls be of use. And that means when you're done with your critical few, you go be of use to anybody you meet. And he basically explained how he just helps them and helps move them one step closer to their goal. And a byproduct and by association, they always call or come back or those pieces. And so when it comes to customer journey, we are really just managing the conversation and leading a relationship until they become a fan, someone in our community, a customer, or they realize they don't jive with us. They're not the right fit. They don't think relationships beat algorithms. They think that I talk about God too much. They think that I'm too vulgar, or that I offend them, or that they should, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter, but it will naturally happen because relationships happen for a reason, a season, a lifetime, and the choice isn't up to me, right? But it's really about managing it. And so to build a customer journey, you just have to have one next step in mind. So if you're making a book recommendation to somebody, don't just send in the book recommendation, tell them why, what you think it can do to benefit them, and then give them instructions on what to do next. Even if it's like write it on a sticky note and post it on your wall so you see it every day. That's a customer journey because you're leading the relationship. And every time they look at that sticky, they see that sticky, they'll have associations. They might lead them closer to you. They might lead them further away. But that's really just managing the conversation because there is zero relationship that can ever be fully automated, but it's best to move them on outcomes bite by bite by bite. And so when I say customer journey, people are so in the weeds sometimes, myself included. A customer's not somebody who just pays you money. A customer's not somebody who just gives you their email. A customer is anybody you're building a relationship with that eventually might realize there's a mutually beneficial value exchange that helps both of you, and they take that action. But every other conversation, every word we use, everything we post, everything we guide people on, everything we share people on is us managing and leading the relationship to give that the potential to become a thing. And it requires us to think like this, to just always move that next step. And so I wanted to talk about this today because this is where the rubber meets the road. And the only way to get better at this is to practice it and do it everywhere. Do it in every DM, do it in every conversation, do it at the end of every Zoom call. I say this all the time. It's like, even if you're running a group Zoom call, when you get them off the call, hit the 5 steps and give them an outcome, give them a goal, give them a workout, because that's why they're coming to you. They're building a relationship to learn from you. And so that learning is relegated to everywhere where we communicate with them. And it's about managing the conversation. And so I want to take the time to do this because it's Customer Journey Month, and I am customer journey-ified, on fire, and just had 30-ish of you incredible people in a room, and we customer journeyed. But really the secret to customer journey is integrally and in containers sharing your heart with your customers or potential customers to build a relationship and guiding them step by step closer to their goal. And sometimes that might lead to an email, sometimes that might lead to a credit card, or sometimes it leads to their life transformed. They're in your community and they send 1,000 of your other friends, but it's all the same. It's managing relationships, moving them closer to their goal, making them the hero of their story, and not creating all that pressure and noise in our life. And so I wanted to share this with you. I absolutely love you all to pieces. We are about to jump on a call with Nathan, so get ready, because I know this drop is coming out right after, because I'm recording this Wednesday for Friday morning, because life, right? Lindsay's going to Costa Rica, school things, everything else, and Nathan's about to come drop podcast knowledge. So with this drop also, there's an incredible clip, an incredible call that I'm pre-examining or pre-claiming right now, because I know that you can also go watch. And the most important thing is to stay in the group, stay in circle, acknowledge, try things, play with things, build relationships, iterate as much as possible, because that's the fastest path to clarity and the fastest path to your results. And so I love you to pieces. I appreciate you so much. I can't wait to have another event and hug more of you. And for every one of you that was there, I love you. And for everyone that wasn't, I felt you all, and I felt your messages, and I appreciate it all. And we felt the love, and I just love you all. So have an absolutely beautiful Friday. It's going to be snowing in Montana, even though it's 61 degrees and I'm recording this. And that's what happens in Montana within a day. And I will see you in the Alliance. I'll see you on Circle. I'll see you on Zoom. Mwah.